Hi, I'm Krista Lee, owner of Loverly Photography, and welcome to Loverly TV. This is Behind the Loverly Lens, a series where I interview past couples and wedding professionals to get their first-hand experience, expert advice, and personal tips for planning your wedding. It's my hope that you will find these videos informative and valuable on your journey to plan the perfect day. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Loverly TV. Today on the show, we have Kevin Jack from WeStream. Hi, Kevin. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Krista. Thanks so much for bringing me on. Excited.
I know. So Kevin, you and we met virtually, kind of, right? Like, I think I'd seen your Niagara 411 or your Niagara Live. Is that what it?
Work that we were doing live streaming some shows here in Niagara. And of course, it's always been adaptable for weddings. We've always done weddings, but hooking up with a professional like you made so much sense for our company and really opened up a lot of doors. So that was one of the great meetings of 2020. You know, all pandemic things are not bad.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Yeah. I remember I had seen what you were doing and then we kind of had a few conversations and I thought, man, this would be so great for my couples, especially with what's going on now. And yeah, a few conversations later and you were at a bunch of my weddings this past year. It was great.
Yeah, great couples and great referrals, and love working with you and your team, and love working with your couples. They're all loverly.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, so it's so great. And I know my couples loved you too, like rave reviews. So that's awesome.
I couldn't believe it. So it's so fantastic when the things that you've been saying for years are echoed by your clients. It's just great kind of affirmation that what you're doing is really what you tell people you're going to do.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, you guys are doing some really cool stuff with that Niagara Live and the Niagara 411 Live. That show that you have with Lee is really cool. I really
Thank you.
find it very informative.
If people are wondering, what Chris is referring to is WeStream is behind a show that's streamed every Thursday at noon on the Niagara 411 Facebook channel. And here in Niagara, Niagara 411 is massive, has 80,000 followers. And as such, we're delivering content through new media and the content that people in Niagara want to know, want to hear about, want to see, and really get to know some of the people of Niagara. We're drawing 20 to 30,000 views per episode. We've brought on a couple of sponsors, Gales and Performance Heating and Air. It's really cool. It's really progressive media, and it is opening up a lot of eyes. And I don't know how many people know that WeStream is actually behind it and powering the whole thing. But I've got kind of an on-screen role with Lee Sterry, who's a broadcast veteran, not only of Niagara, but across Niagara. So it's a real pro show, and it's a testament to what we can do as a live streaming company.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. So why don't you actually talk and break things down about WeStream? And so because you offer a lot of different services. So you're doing the Facebook stuff, but then what else are you guys doing?
Well, at our core, we're a live streaming production company. The pandemic has forced us to not necessarily offer new services, but to provide services that clients now need. For example, we're doing virtual production of Zoom meetings and virtual meetings to add a layer of production and a layer of security to them. And what I mean by that, for a lot of municipalities, organizations that are conducting Zoom meetings, by now they've had something embarrassing happen to them, where they're streaming their Zoom meetings to an audience, but not everything that happens in the meeting they necessarily want the audience to see. So we intercept that meeting before it actually hits the live stream. We add some production and then, of course, give them the security that if anything is going sideways, we'll just kind of take the live stream down for a second, put up a nice little video letting people know we'll be back, and we can handle our business internally. So all those embarrassing things aren't played out, not only in front of a live stream audience, but everything that's live streamed is recorded. So all of your embarrassing moments are recorded forever and ever. So we help with that. But really, WeStream at its core, we're a live streaming company. Our real mandate when we began, we started in 2015, which by now in 2021 means we are live streaming veterans. It doesn't seem like a long time, but I'm telling you, in the live streaming world, to be a company that has been doing live streaming and nothing but since 2015 really sets us out apart from anybody else, because anybody that's decided that, oh, I better start offering live streaming now, trust me, they are going to trip, they're going to fall. It's all part of the process. We did it, only we did it in 2015. And now we're so far beyond that. We've got the internet bonding, we've got all the proper equipment, all the equipment. I mean, there it is right there over my shoulder, right? All these are just filled with equipment that is specialized for live streaming. So the idea of our company is we show up at your venue and we live stream the event. Our efficiency is how we do it. We do it with small wireless cameras. We can do big productions with little setup time. We're very non-intrusive and with little manpower. So the wedding that you see over my shoulder here, and Krista, these were your clients, David and Alicia. This was done in total with 2 people. And one was a second camera person. For the most part, I set this whole thing up by myself, did all the live switching, coordinated the audio, all the graphics, everything like that was all done by one person. And in the world of video production, that in itself is a bit groundbreaking. And that's what we've done since the beginning, is we've approached organizations, we've approached municipalities and businesses who thought that live streaming with a good production was out of their price range. Typically, what companies were charging $25,000 for, we're doing for $2,000-$3,000. Not that we're cutting corners, it's just technology makes that price point available. You don't need big cumbersome cameras. You don't need giant big AV guys with thick beards sitting in the middle of your conference hall turning a camera left and right. There's robotics for that, there's technology for that, and we harnessed it all when we created our company WeStream so that we could offer affordable live streaming, affordable on-location multi-camera live streaming. That's really our forte. And we've been able to adapt it to so many different things. Prior to the pandemic, you wouldn't know this, Krista, but we have actually streamed the last 4 Canada Beach Volleyball Championships.
Oh, no way.
I know, really cool. We've done a lot of work for Volleyball Canada, a lot of work for Ontario Volleyball. We actually stream for the Canadian military. Sometimes people ask us and say, listen, like, we're a professional live streaming company. Like, what do you mean? Like, well, we stream for the Canadian military. We go to CFB Borden, we go to CFB Trenton, and we stream for the Canadian military. So if the Canadian military are giving their stamp of approval to WeStream, certainly we can handle your conference, your wedding, your Hall of Fame induction ceremony, your Wall of Fame induction ceremony. Trust me, we can handle all of that. So we're adaptable to anything from conferences to city council meetings to weddings.
Amazing. It really,
we think so.
yeah, it really is. And I was shocked actually the first time that we met and that we did a wedding together, that it was just the 2 of you. And, that you could create these these videos, like you can see in the background as like he's talking, it's switching to so many different angles. You've got an angle behind the bride and groom, you've got one in front, you've got one walking around, you've got one in the far side. It's amazing. And then you're basically masterminding it behind the scenes, switching all the channels, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I think that could be a little bit of hesitancy, especially on brides and grooms. If you were to bring in a non-progressive media company, so let's say a traditional AV company, they're going to turn your wedding ceremony into a TV set. And you don't want that. You want a company to kind of slide in, whether it's a photographer or videographer or a live streamer, you almost want to not know that they're there. And really that's one of our fortes, is we are non-invasive. So what looks like a big production is actually just a couple of people. And in this case, for example, those cameras are buried in the trellis and buried in the bushes. You can't see them.
I had no idea until I'm watching your video that there was even a camera there that whole time.
Yeah, sometimes we challenge people. It's like, okay, where you think you see a camera angle, now, like, you can even pause it and go see if you can find the camera.
Yeah.
And in most cases, they can't even find it. And you're like, exactly, because you don't need that. You don't need big cables being drawn over all the walkways and things like that. You want us to kind of live and breathe in the background and the periphery, and that's exactly what we do.
That's amazing. Yeah, and you can't have this kind of opportunity you can't switch what am I trying to say here? Like, you can't switch the views, like the image views on like a Zoom call, like if it's just like your laptop set up in the back of the room, like this type of experience really helps. And this is the type of feedback I know that a lot of my clients have gotten from their family members who have watched it. It gives them a much more intimate way of viewing your wedding day, as opposed to just being a computer at the back of the aisle. You know, when it's so far away, you've got the couples are all mic'd up, so the audio is there. And then you're also giving them that like visual storytelling. That's an art in itself, what you do, Kevin, behind the scenes. By switching to the different angles, you're actually helping to tell the story and to help really create an experience for people watching at home.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. It's absolutely what we strive to do. And everything you see on our videos, this was all done live. So there was no post editing to this wedding. What you're seeing here is exactly what all the virtual attendees saw. It happens live. We make the right camera switches and we try and tell that story. And even Dave and Alicia said, you did an episode with them a couple of weeks ago, and they admitted that, you know what, even watching the live stream was almost a better view than being there in person. So that, like, you know, that just, it's so heartwarming to hear people say that, because that's exactly what we're trying to do. And at the same time, being non-invasive and almost not knowing that we're there. So 100%, that's what we're trying to do. We're a blend between live streaming and videography. Now, when I say that, it's not traditional videography. There is a traditional videography that is associated with weddings, where a videographer will follow the bride and groom around as they're getting changed. They'll do slow pan shots, you know, real close up of the bouquet or of the wedding shoes or the dress itself. That's not what we do. What we do is we try and live stream and capture your ceremony or reception in the best way that we can with the latest technology and the best tools. So when people think live streaming and videography, well, we're not going to deliver you a nice 3.5 minute edited black and white, what would be traditional videography for a wedding. What we are going to do is give you an incredible recording of your ceremony. And to me, somebody who's been married for 10 years, who went down the aisle, I would value this over what is traditionally delivered as videography. This is what I want to watch over and over again.
Yeah, it's the actual entire ceremony. Yeah, it's really cool. And it reminds me of, because essentially, I guess, and maybe this is where you kind of got your start, was like, I went to film and TV school. So I went to Niagara broadcasting program. And this reminds me of like my year one TV lab kind of situation where you're in the booth and you're, you know, switching the channels, you know, during a newscast or something. Is that sort of where you got your start, Kevin? Or how did this all happen for you?
So I actually went to radio school.
Oh,
And I was an on-air radio personality for 15 years, including 12 here in Niagara. And I worked for it. I got no problem. I worked for Bell Media. And if you've seen, Bell Media has been in the news the last little while, and they make sweeping cuts. So I could tell about 6 months prior to my D-Day that the writing was on the wall. So I needed to do something. And being somebody that loved media, I knew that this is the direction that media was going. I just saw the writing on the wall and I knew, I go, you know what? I'm going to start a live streaming company, because if I don't, somebody else will. And there are sports sectors out there. There's municipal sectors, there's private sectors, there's corporate sectors that need this service. They want this service, but nobody's providing it. So what's really cool is I actually created a company where there was no sector. In Niagara, nobody was being paid to live stream. I created a company, and then together with my partner, Brandon Scram, we convinced people that this is a market and this is something that you need to spend money on. And we've built a very viable business out of that that is now, 6 years in. And to be honest, I'm quite proud of that. I'm quite proud of that, to be able to kind of invent a sector and then convince people that reaffirmed us with their pocketbooks and said, no, you are right. This is something that we need to spend money on. So I'm pretty proud of that.
absolutely. Like, incredible. And like, who would have known back then that like we would have been hit with a pandemic where basically like we're so beholden to live stream right now and live video.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? The wedding sector is blowing up, and live streaming your wedding. And I'm not saying, and we'll get into this later on, I'm not suggesting that every single person needs to hire WeStream. Okay, there are DIY options, and I'll share some tips on that. But live streaming your wedding during a pandemic is an absolute must. It just is. And you should start to put it higher up on your priority list. Like when you start going down, a lot of times people slot live streaming in at the end or as an afterthought. It has to be right up near the top, like right under photography should be live streaming. And
Yeah.
then a lot of the other stuff should come under that because with limited numbers, there's just, I don't need to go on and on as to the reasons why you need to live stream, but it's got to be more and more priority. It's becoming a must for weddings, and we are getting inquiries on the daily. I mean, every second email that comes in is another couple looking to have their wedding live streamed in
Really?
2021.
That's amazing. So you must be booking it pretty good then.
We are booking up pretty good, but again, people haven't prioritized live streaming.
Yeah.
So a lot of times couples are coming to us and their budget is almost already spent. And they're wondering, well, what can you guys do for us? Well, we're just like any other professional vendor in the wedding space. Listen, we're professionals. As I mentioned, we stream for the Canadian military. So we know what our value is and we know what we deliver. So these are our price points. And I think in some cases, we're priced a little higher, but we're a premium product. We're delivering a premium service at a premium price. And we have no problem. Here you go. Here's testament to this. Here we are in a vineyard in Jordan. This is Cave Springs Vineyard. There is no power, no internet, no nothing. WeStream can do it. There's not any other company that can do that. I guarantee you that.
Yep.
That can't do it with confidence. We know we can go into the middle of a field and live stream. We've done it many times.
That's
all
amazing.
all of our equipment is specifically designed for live streaming. We do not need a power outlet. We do not need a power outlet to power 6-7 cameras, to get our AV going, to stream, to have bonded internet. All of that stuff we know how to do 100% wirelessly and 100% without power. And it's because our company's designed to do that.
Can you tell me about bonded internet? Because I feel like I don't really know what that is. Maybe people don't understand like how important it is.
Bonded internet is huge, especially for events of importance like a wedding. We don't do a single event without bonded internet. And what it is, it's the creation of two different internet sources. So normally, like at your home or where we are now, there's one internet source. Well, we always introduce a second internet source. So if at any point in that live stream, if your primary internet source just dips below what is acceptable to push out a smooth live stream, that data spills over onto the secondary internet source so that your live stream continues and runs smoothly and there's no hiccups. And I'm telling you, back in 2015 when we began, we didn't do this. Why do we bond our internet? Because we've learned, and we're a professional live streaming company. That's all we do. So you learn through your mistakes. And we've made some over the years. Early on, we don't make many anymore. And that's what bonded internet is. And if you're thinking about hiring a company that's going to provide live streaming, ask them if they have bonded internet. What happens is, let's say you're at a venue and the live streaming company goes there and they check out the venue. And yeah, you know what? The venue here has sufficient internet. Okay, well now in the 15 or 20 minutes leading up to the ceremony, the guests start to arrive. And all those guests start logging on to the Wi-Fi. Well, now that bogs down the Wi-Fi. So all of a sudden the live streaming availability gets pinched to a bottleneck and now you can't stream smoothly. When you have bonded internet that's separate and different from what is in the facility, that's just going to spill over onto your own personal internet and the stream won't be affected. It's invaluable. It's your own little your fallback safety blanket for all of your live streams. And any good professional live streamer will be incorporating bonded internet.
That's amazing. Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, we learn, right? We learn over the years.
So when you live stream, where is it going to? Is it going to YouTube? Is it going through Zoom? Like what is the interface? How do the clients log into it? How does that work for weddings in particular?
That's a terrific question. It's a question that a lot of people ask. Okay, the first thing that I ask clients when we start talking about what platform is, okay, what is your audience doing? And that falls into two categories. Are they passive or are they active? Active would be a Zoom. a Zoom environment where there's interaction and you want to be able to speak and interact with these people. Passive is a YouTube experience where people are sitting back and I'm watching. Okay, so live streaming companies, including our own, can stream to any and all platforms, and we can stream to any and all platforms simultaneously. YouTube is the #1 place that you want to be for your live streams for a number of reasons. The main thing being that it's free, okay, and it's universally available. I can send a YouTube link to my mom, and my mom knows what it is and isn't scared off by it and doesn't need to download any new software. When you start looking at other live streaming platforms, it can be a little intimidating. People aren't familiar with the platform. Zoom is a bit of a different animal. Zoom, we love using Zoom, and I know we'll probably talk a little more about our interactive weddings and bringing virtual guests onto a big screen. But Zoom is really cool because you can do that. We can take this screen right here and roll it into your ceremony and actually project your virtual guests right on the screen. Sorry, I'm having a hard time pointing here behind me. But you can put them right on the screen. Yeah. And you can see Uncle John and you can see Cousin Jim. I mean, with everybody, I really feel for brides and grooms these days who have to pare down their list. Like, who do you cut? So you know that maybe, the third cousin isn't making it. Well, now you can put them in a Zoom room and they can watch virtually. But if we are streaming to Zoom, we'll also stream to YouTube at the same time so that we give all of your guests both options. If they want to dress up and be seen and interact, they can do that in the Zoom room. If they just want to click and kind of sit back and watch on their own, they could just watch the YouTube link. Now, there are white label options. White label is just the industry term for not YouTube, not Facebook, not the free social platforms. When you get into white label, and we can offer white label, the thing is it costs money. So there's not a lot of incentive to go there. It costs money, and they're generally websites that people aren't familiar with. Like, for example, Chris, you could tell me, you ever heard of Decast, streaming video provider, Bright Cove, right? These are 3 very, very popular. Oh, I love that shot there.
That's great.
So that in there is behind the arbor out at,
oh, yeah.
And we love giving that shot because the brides and grooms get to see the faces of all the attendees. And that's one thing that you miss, right? If all you ever have is a camera like this shot at the back, you never actually get to see the faces of the people that are there. Oh, and while we're going down that road, another really cool thing that we've heard is feedback from brides. They love the ability to watch their guests arrive.
Oh, yeah.
Usually the bride is ready, I don't know, Christy, you tell me, maybe 15, 20 minutes before the ceremony, and they're just kind of, in the green room or around the corner in the limousine, just kind of waiting. Well, they could sit there and open up the live stream on their phone and watch all of their guests arrive.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a really cool thrill for them, and it takes away some of the nervousness of just sitting there idle for 15 or 20 minutes waiting for your turn. And also, it gives you an appropriate time. Like, sometimes the brides have told us, like, I was waiting for Uncle Marty to show up, and Uncle Marty wasn't there. He was late. But at least Uncle Marty didn't miss anything because I could see on my phone, he's not there yet. So I'm not walking down that aisle until he's there. And then sure enough, oh, yep, there he is. Okay, he just came in. All right, now we can go.
That's fun.
So I don't know if that was an answer to your question or just kind of a run-on sentence.
Yeah, we were talking about the streaming. So you stream. Oh, so I just wanted to make a comment though about the Zoom because you had that screen set up at Dave and Alicia's wedding, and it was the first time I had seen anything like that. And you actually had it set up so Dave and Alicia could literally stand right in front of the screen and have a 2-way conversation. It wasn't just like staring and like, oh, hi, like they could actually hear their guests. You had a little speaker set up and they could hear the bride and groom. Like, it was so cool that they could actually stand and talk to them for a few minutes.
Yeah, we like to think that that's a WeStream exclusive. I can't think of another company that is offering that or has the capability of offering that. And it's interesting because that's something that we have done. That setup is something that we've done in the corporate world for years. Yeah. So it's nothing to us. It's just oh yeah, listen, do this, do that, do that, do that. Why? Because we're a live streaming company. We have all the equipment geared towards live streaming and doing exactly that. But we love it. We can't think of a better setup for a pandemic wedding. It sucks. Like, it sucks. But as Dave and Alicia talked about in your session with them, they said like live streaming our wedding was the best decision we made. It brought out a lot of stress, and it's so nice being able to tell the people that either can't make it or the ones that unfortunately you have to cut from your guest list that listen, you're still going to be there. Okay, we're going to go in the Zoom room. The screen's going to be at the back. And we encourage people when you do that option to encourage your guests, your virtual guests, to dress up like as though they're actually going to the wedding, because they are going to the wedding. And when the bride and groom look out, there's only 2 rows of in-person guests, and then there's a screen behind them. And on their screen, they see their loved ones, they see their friends, and they're there. And they're all, dressed up. They got their suit, they got their dresses on. And in some cases, they've got a champagne flute, and they're ready to do a toast. And the best part of it all, and you mentioned it, is the ability to speak back and forth with them. That it's not just that, okay, we can see them, but afterwards, okay, after the I do's, let's carve out 5 or 10 minutes and let's go talk to them, because they were there, they saw our wedding, and the people in the Zoom room are being fed this exact same stream that you see here. It's all the multi-camera, all the pro audio, all the live cuts from camera to camera to camera. They're seeing the exact same thing that you would see in the recording or you would see on the YouTube video. So their experience is not diminished at all. And it's so cool that afterwards they can talk to the bride and groom. You can tell her how beautiful her dress looked. You can tell him how heartfelt his vows were. And there's value to that. I truly do believe that it's really comforting for COVID brides and grooms to be able to tell their guests that we have figured out a way for you to be there virtually, and we're going to be able to see you, and you're going to be able to see us. And of course, the ones that take the most advantage of it are the jokers, right? The guys that love to just rib and needle and joke, always have a fun time on the Zoom beforehand and afterhand. But that's their way of saying I love you. It really is.
Yeah. So how do couples get the link to communicate it out to their guests? Do they go through you for that? Do you set up the link and everything and have it customized and give that to them ahead of time? How does that work? Do they have to set anything up themselves?
No, they don't have to do anything. And we do it all. In fact, I just finished one this morning for a couple that's getting married at Club Roma. So it's real simple. All we ask from them is an engagement photo, because when you send out a YouTube link, there's a little thumbnail that goes along with it, right? So it's really nice if it's personalized to the couple so the people see that, oh, okay, this is David and Alicia's wedding. And they'll see a nice photo of David and Alicia, and then all the information is there as to it's their wedding, where it is, the time, et cetera, et cetera. And we send out those links, and then from there, you send them out to everyone. And just so you know, when we do it on YouTube, we generally use the setting that's called unlisted. What that means is the only way for you to ever watch the live stream or the recording is to have the link. If you go to YouTube and you try and search for it, it will not come up. It's just immediately removed from the search altogether. And the only way to get there is to have the link. So there's a little bit of a surety that, listen, the people I'm sending it to, those are the only people that are going to be able to watch my wedding. At the same time, it's so easy to do it. You can send out the link via email. You can send it via text. You can put it up on Facebook, any messaging platform you want. You just send that link and know that everybody has it. So it's real simple to do. We make it really easy for you. And no, you don't have to do any of the work other than distribute it to people. And we generally turn that around in about 24 hours. From the moment you book us, we start working on that link to get it in your hands as quickly as possible.
Amazing. And honestly, like, I just see so much value in this because, like, we're heading into another year with COVID. We have variant strains happening. We're hoping, and I'm very optimistic that we're going to have a good wedding season. I think, if not better than last year, at least similar to last year, because last year was pretty decent for me anyways. Like, it wasn't that bad. But I feel like at least for the next few years, there's still going to be a lot of restrictions, even with the vaccine getting rolled out. There's still going to be travel restrictions. There's still going to be, people that are elderly that can't or don't want to risk, being exposed or going out. So I really see the value in booking a service like this, moving forward in life, because I think people's way of living is changing now too, right? And the way they want to do things is changing. So having this available for your sorry, having this available for your guests is a real nice add-on.
Yeah, and I'll just touch on that a little bit because so for the most part, we focused on the bride and groom side of it. But you're so right in saying for the guests, it's so nice for guests to know that there's a live streaming happening, especially for your elderly guests that are higher risk. They may not want to come to your wedding. They don't want to tell you that, right? They don't want to tell you that, but they may not want to take on that risk. It's too risky for them. To know that it's going to be live streaming takes a lot of that stress and pressure off of them having to say yes when they might feel uncomfortable doing so.
Mhm.
And that's what we all want, right? We don't want anybody attending our wedding when we feel that they're being forced to or it's against their will or better judgment. When it comes to COVID, you know what? Everybody makes their own decisions that is best for them given their circumstances. And we just have to abide by that and respect people's decisions. Knowing that you've got live streaming in your back pocket makes that decision a lot easier for a lot of people.
Absolutely. And I see a trend happening, and I think it'll probably continue even past COVID, of more people getting involved in micro weddings and wanting to do these smaller, more intimate ceremonies and receptions. So having this ability to then have you come in with your team and document it from a live stream, they're not leaving anybody out. When we got married, we ended up having a very small ceremony. It was just 16 of us. We cut it off at it was just parents, siblings, and that's it. And a couple of really close friends who were standing up with us. But I really upset my family by that because they couldn't be there and they wanted to be there, or at least would have liked to have experienced it. So I think for those couples who are like, you know what, for us, a more intimate affair is better, having a company like you come in, whether there's COVID or not, it still gives, again, that opportunity for your family and the people that do love you and are cheering for you. They want to see you get married, whether they're at the party or not is relevant. They care about watching you,
Yeah,
say
and you
your
know what?
ideas.
I mean, the world is becoming a smaller place, and how many brides and grooms now have friends that are halfway around the world or even acquaintances? And it's a nice way to include those people in your wedding.
Yeah.
Without a live stream, you're not going to invite that guy you met on a ski vacation, you really hit it off with 4 years ago in Switzerland. But I bet you if I sent them the link to my wedding, they'd probably watch.
Yep.
And they would. And it's nice to know that they're included because they're a part of your life, but they would never make the cut for your wedding. But live streaming allows you to include those people in your wedding where otherwise you wouldn't be able to. And I don't care whether you have 20 people or 200 people coming to your wedding, wherever you draw that line, that's a very difficult decision. It's so hard. I mean, I did it with my wife. I know, Christy, you've done it with your husband. It's difficult. You're leaving people out, and it always hurts you inside, whoever that last person is right before the cut line. To know that you can tell all those people, hey, here's the live stream, you guys, we still want, and they understand. They know that, all right, I get it. Here's where I am in your social ladder. I get it, but that's cool. I'm going to be able to watch your wedding. And most of them will go out of their way to watch it. And if they can't watch it live, one great thing about live streams, Krista, is they're archived immediately. Like by the time the bride and groom get in the limousine and are driving away, they can rewatch their ceremony.
Amazing.
You don't have to wait 2 days. You don't have to do a same day edit or anything like that. It's done.
Yeah.
It's done. It's up and it's loaded. One other thing that's really cool, and it kind of gets to the bonded internet and about hiring professional live streaming companies, is everything that we're streaming to the cloud. I'm using the cloud generically, be YouTube or Zoom or whatever. It's being recorded on that platform. We also record everything locally. And then we also record everything on every camera.
Wow.
So we have triple backups. If anything were to go wrong, we can go to our backup. And if our backup's not there, we've got a third backup. And that's one of the things that you get with WeStream. Like I said, we're a professional live streaming company. This is not our first dance. We know what we're doing, and we know what we're doing because we've experienced it all. We've streamed from everywhere, from the middle of a forest to the middle of a vineyard.
That's amazing.
And we do it with great success.
Yeah, you do. So do you ever cover in live stream the receptions? Because I know you do the ceremonies, but does anyone ever ask you about covering the reception part?
Yep, we've done receptions, and again, we do them quite well. We're adaptable, and a lot of times, there's enough of a time window in between for us to get from the ceremony venue to the reception venue. And we set up and all the same thing, multiple camera angles, non-invasive. The last one I remember doing was at the 20. And if you can picture their window room upstairs,
Yep.
the ceiling's probably only 10 feet high. And there's a lot of exposed ductwork and things like that. So all of our cameras, we actually hung from the ceiling.
Oh, cool.
So you want to talk about non-invasive. People didn't even know the cameras were there. And we're huddled in the corner and we're doing all of our live camera switches and capturing all of it. To me, it's a great investment. But I will say that brides and grooms, 1 out of every 10 weddings that book us for ceremonies also want to do the reception. I think it would be a valuable investment just because the speeches are valuable and the first dance is valuable. You know, we leave when all the malarkey begins. Once people start dancing, well, sorry, COVID, you can't dance. But when people start dancing and the alcohol starts flowing, that's it. We turn off the live stream and we're out of there. But yeah, speeches and all those things, we've captured that in the past. And I think there's great value to that.
So what do people do while, like, what do you capture when people are eating dinner?
So we always have, and oh my gosh, is this a PG show? Well, we always have, and again, we're professional live streamers. So this is stuff that, well, I keep saying this because when we began live streaming, there's no textbook. It's such a new medium that I can't go, especially in 2015, I can't go and read from people's experiences. So we had to learn best practices on our own, and best practices that, quite honestly, are being copied around the world. We're a small little company in St. Catharines. There's not a week that goes by that I don't see somebody on the other side of the world doing something and thanking WeStream because we did it.
Wow.
And I'm not even lying, from equipment that is specially tailored to, I mean, over my shoulder there, you can't see it, there's a mic stand. Well, in the live streaming world, a mic stand's way better than a tripod. Tripods have 3 legs, they take up more room.
Yeah.
If all you're doing is holding a tiny camera, why do you have a 3-foot wide base? Use a mic stand, buy the adapters, and then it's nice and slim and streamlined. People in live streaming are doing that all over the world. And a number of them I know are doing it specifically because we did it and we figured it out. So you're saying, what do people do when we're eating? Well, one of the things that we figured out, and you'll see it, we label the camera every time as OS. And our OS means, oh, snap. And if all of a sudden you're sitting there in your live stream and something happens, let's say your main camera gets knocked over, I got to go to the O Snap camera. And the O Snap camera is kind of like what you see here. It shows everything. It doesn't show anybody too closely. So while people are eating dinner, that's what we show. Because nobody wants a camera up close to their face when they're sitting there eating a meal. I mean, that's nobody's attractive moment in life, right? Is eating and what have you. So we'll do a camera like that. What we've also done when we've done receptions is at the appropriate time, sometimes, you know, they're delayed bringing out dessert or something like that. We'll walk around from table to table with a handheld camera and a microphone, again, all wireless, and get people to say hi to the bride and groom.
Oh, that's
You
fun.
know, hey, so-and-so. It helps fill that void, and it also gives the bride and groom a great memory because, you know, as you go around from table to table, it's who was at that table again? All right. And you get a video memory of everybody that was there, and everybody gets at least their opportunity to say hi to the bride and groom.
You know, it'd be kind of cool for some couples who are considering doing this, because I think it'd be super fun. Do you remember Speaker's Corner?
Yeah.
So like having like sort of something similar to like a photo booth, but more of like a video speak booth, right? Where people can like sit in the cute little booth that's decorated maybe with like fun stuff from the wedding, and then having them just do like their video messaging in there, and people can kind of wander in and out on their own and do that, you know, and then you've got that sort of added bonus.
Yeah, we've done that before. No, I'm trying to think if we've done that at weddings. At weddings, what we generally try and do is we'll start our stream half an hour before the wedding ceremony is set to begin. And during that half hour, we'll walk around and intermingle with the guests.
Yeah.
And we're giving them instructions and cues behind the camera saying, hey, wave, say hello. And that's kind of our opportunity to do that. We have before at other events. It's a great idea, Krista. Maybe we should introduce that when we're dealing with brides and grooms, say, here's another option for you. Believe it or not, one of the things we did, we streamed the World Dwarf Games in 2017. They were held in Guelph, and it was little people from all over the world competing in athletics. It was their Olympics. It
That's
happens every 4 years, and it happened to be hosted in Guelph. It was such a great experience. And for that, we set up, instead of calling it Speaker's Corner, we called it a shout out station. And it was exactly that. It was a camera, a microphone, a backdrop. And at any moment in time, if any of the athletes, any of the parents, anything like that wanted to come over and just say hi to people on the stream, then we would do that. And if there was action going on, we would just split screen it or picture in picture or something like that. So we would still capture all the gameplay. But yeah, you know, the like the guys from Little People, Big World.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we're best friends.
Come on.
Oh yeah. The oh gosh, who's the son that has a family and they had their own breakoff show?
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but he was cute though.
Oh gosh, yeah. So we ended up having to kind of do work for TLC because his team didn't make the championship game. So it wasn't going to be streamed. So I got to know these people all over the course of the week, and he comes up to me and he's like, Kevin, what? He's like, well, TLC is coming over to my parents' show or over to my parents' house, and they're filming a whole episode about them watching me on the live stream. Only my game's not going to be live streamed because we didn't make the finals.
No.
So I'm like, don't worry, I got you. So we worked with the organizer, and the two games were going on simultaneously. So I found some volunteers, hooked them up with another tripod, a whole secondary set of streaming equipment, and got it streamed for them so that TLC could do their show and everything got pulled off. But yeah, that was a great experience. And that was one of the things that we used the shout out station or Speaker's Corner for. And you're right, I should start offering that more to brides and grooms. So we can implement that like that into any wedding.
Yeah, I feel like that would be super fun at a reception, or even like you said, like before the ceremony or just after, to have as like a little add-on for sure.
I agree. I'm glad we collaborate.
I know, right? It's very cool. Okay, so when a couple comes to you and they are interested in your services, what's sort of the process for them?
You know, it begins like any conversation. Generally, they're coming to us because they're considering live streaming. Then the first thing that happens is we talk about our pricing and our packages. That's what most people want, right? They just want to cut right down to it and find out whether or not we're in your budget range. To be honest, from our point of view, from a vendor's point of view, and Krista, you can tell me all the flowery, lovey-dovey stories you want about how you want to build a relationship, about how I want to find out about them and how they met and this and that. But at the end of the day, if you charge X amount and they can only afford this, let's just get that out of the way to begin with. Mm-hmm. We're all nice people, right? We're all nice people, but we don't need to spend half an hour of each other's time if we're not even close on price.
All right.
So that's kind of the first place it begins, is saying, okay, here's our pricing and packages. Then what I try and do is, as quickly as possible, if they're interested, is have a conversation with them. Live streaming is so new that a lot of people don't understand, and videos like this go a long way to having people understand what's possible and what differentiates a professional live streaming service versus a DIY live streaming services, and what a live stream actually means. Mm-hmm. So if we can have that conversation with people, then it saves probably 25 emails.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely. A lot of times you can solve in one conversation all the questions. Mm-hmm. Instead of it dragging on for week after week after week. Just, oh, right, another thing came to mind, another thing came to mind. A lot of times when you're talking, you know, those things pop into your mind right away and you can get answers right away.
Well, and that's the thing. So let's talk about the difference between doing a DIY and having a professional live streaming service, because like the technology that you're using, so whether you're, you know, going in through Zoom or YouTube, like you're also using a different technology that allows you to be able to switch the camera views and sort of be the orchestrator of the wedding, like of the coverage that you're getting, right? So, you know, my next door neighbor can't come and like do what you do.
No.
For my wedding. So let's
absolutely.
talk about the difference.
And you know what, I do want to preface this whole thing by saying that I have no problem with people that want to do it themselves. And I think it's up to the individual. Krista, I know your mentality, your way of life, you feel the same way. There are going to be people that come to you and say, you know what, my Uncle Bill's got a good camera and I'm fine with him taking pictures. Okay, that's fine. Like I would advise you against it. But if that's what you're comfortable with, then that's fine. People that say, you know what, I just want to play all the music off of my phone and I don't want to hire a DJ. Okay, that's fine. If that's going to work for you, then that's great, and that's what I would recommend. But you are going to fall into some trappings.
Mhm.
So if people want to do it, if people want to do it themselves, they can do it themselves. But there are going to be some problems along the way. Now, number one, from a production standpoint, the only thing you're going to get is a single camera. Okay, you're just going to get a single camera. In most cases, what's going to happen is somebody will come in with a laptop and a webcam, if you're lucky. Otherwise, they might just be using the internal camera on the laptop, which right now I'm using a webcam. Okay, webcams are so much better than the camera that's already in your laptop. They might come with a DSLR and a capture card and stuff like that. Then they're starting to up their game a little bit. Okay, and all you're going to get is one static shot, like, well, you just saw there, but as you see, WeStream, we cut angles, right? You're just going to get one static shot throughout the whole duration of your wedding. And for some people, that might be fine. Another problem that you're going to find if people want to do it DIY is audio. People never think about audio when they live stream. Here, I'll look right in the camera. If you are going to try DIY live streaming, prioritize audio. Okay, prioritize audio. Nothing sucks more than watching a live stream and not being able to hear the vows.
People forget about audio, never mind if they're not, even if they're not doing video at all. Like, it's so important, guys, to have, like, if you have a DJ doing the music while you're going up your aisle, you have someone live streaming, you have someone videoing, anytime, like somehow, way, shape, or form at your wedding, make sure that you have a microphone at the aisle, because people want to hear the vows. And even the people in the seats can barely hear them, let alone the people on your laptop at the end of the room trying to watch on Zoom.
Oh, I know. And trust me, when it comes to equipment, we have the top of the line audio equipment. We don't skimp on anything that we buy, because we know if we get to, like, for example, if we're doing a wedding and our audio is suffering, we know it's not our equipment because we bought the top of the line stuff. And that's why we do that. We don't skimp on our equipment because then we know the equipment's not the problem. There's something else at play here. So we have top of the line audio equipment. And even sometimes if there's a DJ there and they don't give us that air of confidence that they know how to mic this properly, we'll just add our own secondary audio. We're like, nope, forget it. We're doing our own audio because they've let us down too many times. Sorry, DJs, you've let us down too many times. So you learn from experience. You know what? I actually wrote a blog in 2020 for the Wedding Planners Institute of Canada with 5 DIY tips for people that are looking to live stream their wedding. So I want to go through those and share those with people, because if you do decide, and again, that's your decision, if you do decide to do it, that's great. Here are some tips that somebody that's been through the ringer has for you. Okay, number 1,
Amazing.
okay, stream from a cell phone. Okay, even though I was just talking about laptops and webcams and things like this, one thing that's good about streaming from a cell phone, you already have a camera, you already have a microphone, and you already have an internet connection. Okay, if you bring in a laptop, you're going to have to now get an internet connection. And if you're in the middle of a vineyard, how are you going to do that as a DIYer? Are you going to hotspot your phone? Well, that would work, but now you're getting into a little higher level of sophistication, of technical know-how. So stream from your cell phone, right? You're already doing DIY. So all you're really doing is checking a box. You're not looking for Steven Spielberg. So do it from a cell phone, okay? Because everything you need is there. Sometimes you do it from a laptop, the microphone sucks. Microphones on cell phones are really good, okay?
I'm just gonna like stop you there before
Yes.
people drive me crazy. If you're going to do it on a cell phone, make sure that cell phone or whatever device you're using, if you're DIYing this, it is not at the front of the aisle or in the middle of the aisle, like right at the edge of the aisle, because 9 times out of 10, I've had this happen. I've had the mother of the groom holding an iPad at the front of the aisle, and it just looks so bad in pictures, you guys. It just ruins the photos.
Oh my gosh, the mother of the bride. This is what you tax the mother of the bride with doing on the wedding day instead of sitting back and enjoying and watching. Now call WeStream, call us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, now if you are going to use a cell phone or whatever it is your camera is, stabilize it. Okay, don't have somebody holding it. And it's for more reasons than you think. If you think I'm telling you this just because, well, I don't want a shaky video, no, that's not it. There's actually a reason why you want to do it, to create a smooth stream. Okay, right now in my office, okay, the only things that are moving in my picture are me and this video, okay? Which means that the data that's being transmitted isn't very high because the pixels aren't really changing, right? When you break it down to the language that computers understand, that routers understand, that technology runs on, okay, it's the number of pixels that are changing. So right now, to transmit this stream actually isn't too taxing on my network because it's only me. And if I sit real still, the only pixels that are moving are right up there. So it's like 1/6 of the screen.
Wow.
As soon as my camera moves a little bit like that, now 100% of the pixels are changing, which means the data that's transferred has to be 100% of the maximum tolerance.
I had no idea.
If you secure your camera, you've really degraded the amount of data that needs to be transmitted. So if you have sketchy Wi-Fi or sketchy internet connections, that can really go a long way towards smoothing out a stream. And it's not just because you don't want a shaky video. There you go, from a pro, right?
Amazing.
Then I have also, what about audio? And we mentioned this, but here's one thing I'll say for DIYers. And sorry, I keep tapping my microphone here. For DIYers is prioritize audio over camera angle. So right away, if you were going to do a DIY, you would want to do what you said, Krista, is I want to put my camera right in the middle of the aisle so I get that crystal clear shot. The reality is your speakers are going to be flanked on the right or the left, and you may not be able to hear clearly. Well, I'll tell you, that stream is going to be so much better if you go and put that camera 2 feet away from that speaker, and maybe now you've got an angled shot of the altar. Who cares?
Yeah.
You can still see the bride, you can still see the groom, but now you can hear everything. And I'll tell you, if you put that in the middle, you might have a great shot, but the vows are going to sound like this. I do, and yes, I love you so much. And that's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And all of the people watching are going to strain to hear what they're saying. Okay, so sacrifice your camera angle in the pursuit of better audio. Get it close to a speaker. Scout out your venue. Find out where the speakers are. We talked about this earlier. Pick the right platform. Okay, number one reason you want to go on YouTube is it's free and it's readily available. One of the downfalls of YouTube you might get into is they don't like copyrighted music, right? And a lot of times people have copyrighted music playing. The good thing is YouTube, if you do have a copyright violation that causes your video to be taken down, it will only happen after the live stream. Okay, and one good thing about working with a company like us is that if that does occur, as I mentioned, we've got a local recording and we've got recordings from all of our individual camera angles. So, and this has happened sometimes, YouTube takes it down because of copyright issues. No problem, we got your back. We'll deliver it via another platform. We'll put it up in the cloud, we'll share it to you, you can share it to your guests that way. But it only happens after the live stream. And then finally, start your stream early. Okay, start your stream early. We generally start it half an hour before the scheduled start time of the ceremony. You do it for a number of reasons. The main reason is so people that are watching know that they're in the right place. If you were being a virtual attendee at a live streamed wedding that was going at 3 o'clock, you'd probably be ready at 2:30. 2:45 latest. You're sitting down in front of your computer or your TV, whatever device you're using, and you want to watch it. And if there's nothing there, you're going to be refreshing every 60 seconds. You're going to be calling Aunt Phyllis. Are you watching? Are you getting anything? If the live stream is there, even if it's just showing an empty venue and people can just see people milling about, they know, okay, that's a live stream. I'm in the right place. Another reason you want to start it early for DIYers is you'll find out in that first half hour if you're having technical issues. You can monitor your stream and see if you can hear it. You can go into the microphone and do a test and see if it's being picked up by your live stream without really being invasive into the actual ceremony itself. So start your live streams half an hour ahead of time, and in that first 15 minutes, you'll be able to iron out any technical glitches before anything of importance happens. So there you go. Those are 5 DIY tips from a professional live streamer. And again, nothing wrong with doing it yourself. Take some of these tips to heart and implement them, and you'll have success. But at the same time, you get what you pay for. I would recommend hiring a photographer instead of getting Uncle Al. I would recommend hiring a DJ instead of playing it off of your laptop. Same as I would recommend bringing in a professional live streamer rather than doing it yourself.
Absolutely. I 100% echo all of that. And actually, in some ways, I feel like if it comes down to it, guys, and you have to choose between videography and live streaming, like from what I've seen and from what I'm hearing, like live streaming definitely does have more of an edge as far as being able to accommodate your guests. Having these beautiful cinematic productions of film afterwards are wonderful. They're great to have, down the road if, at your 10-year anniversary, you want to watch your wedding video. It's beautiful. It's a lovely thing, but it's not the same as what Kevin's providing in WeStream.
That's what you want to see right there. That's what you want to watch over and over again. And
Yeah.
they do. And one cool thing about the live stream is it lives online, right? So we talk about sometime, like, what are you going to do? Like, the live stream is archived immediately. So the next day when people are like, well, show me this from your wedding, you can pull out your cell phone and right there show somebody your live streamed wedding. Wherever you are, you have your cell phone. You can always access YouTube. By the way, we do deliver a video backup in the cloud, so you can download that to your hard drive.
Awesome.
And you can access that from anywhere, right? If it's not available online or in the cloud, like, honestly, I don't have a DVD player anymore. I don't know if people are still delivering in DVD, but I don't have a DVD player in my house.
No.
I don't have one.
Yeah.
So
Same with CDs. I have not a place to put a CD or
it's not gonna do me any good. So and we hear that from brides and grooms. Like, and I can see the view counts as well, right? And I can tell within 24 hours, it's got hundreds of views, and that's because everybody's watching it over again.
Yeah.
There's still the thrill, there's still the excitement, right? I don't know about you, but for me, in the 24, 48, 72 hours that followed my wife and my wedding, man, we were still on cloud 9, and we loved watching it over and over again.
Yeah. No, that's really cool.
Look at this right here.
That's beautiful. Yeah, all those little behind the scenes candid moments, because your camera guy who's walking around freely, like, he's grabbing all this stuff. It's not just those static views that, if people try to do it themselves, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah, and again, this is in the middle of a vineyard in Niagara. There's no power, there's no internet, there's no nothing. And that's what we bang out. And yeah, that roving camera operator, it's real small. He's got a microphone on him. It's all non-invasive. As you can see, they're really not paying much attention to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is great.
No, it's cool. Yeah. I mean, I love, like, the cinematography, hiring a videographer to create like a beautiful featured film for you is 100%. I recommend it. But if you have to choose between both, I'd seriously consider, the WeStream option because of how accommodating it is.
Yeah, thank you. We've talked to some couples and made that exact comparison, saying, you know what, if I was weighing WeStream and videography and I could only choose one, WeStream pretty much doubles as both. But what we don't do is deliver traditional wedding videography. This is what we deliver, and I consider this to be more valuable. But I won't hold it against you if you don't.
Could they take the footage that you provide them and have someone cut together a cinematic reel? Is that
100%?
Okay.
And we'll deliver, like I said, we have all those different camera angles. We'll deliver all those camera angles if a bride and groom asks. And here you go. These were one of your couples.
Oh yeah, it's another one of my couples.
So it's Eric and, oh gosh, I always remember Eric because he's an Olympian.
He is an Olympian.
Yeah, and there you go. You talk about, like, no power, no nothing. We're on a beach.
Haley and Eric.
Yeah, they were great. What a great couple to work with.
No.
Your team, fantastic. I mean, here we are on a beach on Lake Ontario.
I was sweating when I arrived. I was like, Kevin, are you sweating this? Because I'm sweating this. It was a wind tunnel when we arrived, but it died down. And you were like, we got this. We got it. I'm like, no, we need to move it inside. This is not going to work. And you're like, no, we got this. It's fine. I'm like, you're not going to do
no problem.
Too windy.
Hey, talk about us. We're a team player. The venue, and loved working with everybody at the venue, but they did not have a windsock for their microphone. We're like, how do you do weddings? And they're like, well, yeah, the audio gets pretty windy sometimes. Like, I know, they make things for this. So we brought our own windsock with it. We put it on their microphone, and at the end, we left it for them.
Yeah. Oh, that's
We said,
nice.
"You guys take it." And they're like, "Wow, it sounded really good." I'm like, "I know. That's what these things do. They work."
Yeah, right? It's like, how do you have this for weddings on a beach without a windsock?
Without a windsock. So we put our own windsock on their microphones. We're like, this,
Yeah.
it's not going to work without one.
No.
It's so windy. And then, like I said, do you want it back? Like, you guys take it. We have extras.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that look at that sky on that one too, eh? Like that just worked out to be like the most picture perfect day.
I don't know if you used any photos from that, but the sky that day was
yeah.
perfect.
Oh yeah. Their first kiss shot is like amazing because it's just these big blue sky with white fluffy clouds, and then their kiss.
What it was the color of the sky and the white fluffy clouds that were all just looked like marshmallows and hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Evenly spaced apart, equally fluffy, and just pristine. It was gorgeous on that day, and I love working with them.
Yeah, one of my favorite weddings for sure. And totally didn't feel like COVID.
No, you're right.
It felt really good. They actually ended up having quite a big ceremony or reception too. I think there was a good 50 people there.
I think at that time, they were capped at 50. So they pushed it right up to, 48, 49.
Yeah.
And it did give a little sense of normalcy. And boy, don't we need more of that.
Yeah, it's funny, because I feel like I interview a lot of professionals who got hit hard in 2020, but you actually got to benefit a little bit from.
We did, right? People have that impression that oh gosh, you guys must have thrived under this. Well, 60% of what we did was sports, and that went to zero in a day.
Right.
And we had good strategic partners. We did a lot of work for Volleyball Canada, Ontario Volleyball, Gymnastics Ontario, 2 football leagues in Ontario, and the Canadian military. And all of that went to zero in a day and hasn't come back. When it does, it'll be great because we've had an opportunity to pick up new business in the pandemic where businesses have been forced to seek out virtual options and live streaming options. And we've been able to kind of adapt what it is that we do to provide what they need. But yeah, we lost a lot when sports went to zero.
Okay, well, is there anything else you want to tell us about WeStream? Do we cover everything?
I think we covered it all. You know what? Don't be hesitant to contact us. We're not going to be offended if you don't hire us. And we love talking live streaming. So as I said, what professional live streamer writes a blog for wedding planners? Hey, if you want to do it yourself, here's 5 things that you can do to really improve it from somebody who's been there before and done it. We do that because we know it's not for everybody, and we'll point you in the right direction, even if it's not us. But have a conversation with us. We're nice people. We like to laugh. We like to smile. We're professional. We've got the same mindset as you, Krista. We're always having a good time. We always have a smile on our face, and yet we're professional and getting the job done.
Absolutely. Actually, I want to talk about Dave and Alicia's wedding, because we had a situation there too where it was starting to rain and the sky was about to open up, and you're outside and we're all outside, the guests are outside, everybody's outside, and we had to make sort of this game day decision, moment by moment decision. And they wanted to call it off. They're like, nope, we're going to move everything. You're already set up. You're ready to go. The TV's there. We're Brittany and I are what, and we're just no, we full on put our foots down. And we're this is going to, the rain will not come. We're just going to go with it,
Yeah. And you know what? And we lucked out, but at the same time, we were willing to move inside. It's okay. But just so you know, we're an hour away.
Yeah.
For us to tear all this down and get it back inside, that's an hour. And we'll do it. Because, hey, who controls the weather? Yeah. Whatever. But we got real lucky that day in that it was just, it was a passing shower and nothing really got soaked and all the equipment worked. So, and then it went off great, and loved working with them. And really love working with all the couples.
Yeah.
It's really great because we know we're offering a valuable service, and we know we're offering a service that is taking the stress off of COVID couples. And because of that, we know we're welcomed. And that's the best part. People are opening doors for us. They're very thankful that we're there. And that's the best environment in which to work. So we've got smiles on our faces all day.
100%. Yeah. And I keep promoting you to my couples because I really believe in what you guys are doing. I just really feel that it's such a benefit to every couple that's getting married right now during COVID to have a service like yours.
Well, thank you.
Like I said, you're a consummate professional. You guys, like, in any situation, you can handle it. And like, that speaks volumes.
Well, thank you very much. And you know what? Like, we know that we're a unique company. So you can go searching for other companies, and I encourage you to do it. You'll probably end up coming back and talking to us, because there is nobody in Ontario that has been live streaming since 2015.
Yeah.
There's just not.
And there are, I think there might be a little bit, like, I think some videography or photography companies might start or have been advertising that they'll do it, but they're not doing it. And please don't mistake in this, they're not doing it on the level that WeStream is doing it.
No.
It's a much bigger effort in what they're doing behind the scenes. You don't see it because they're so good at being inconspicuous and not making it about the production, and taking away from all the beauty of your wedding. But there is a lot going on behind the scenes that, like, not anybody, like, I can't just go pick up and learn how to do that.
No, I appreciate that, because we make the very complex look very easy, to the point that some people, when they see us in person, think that, oh my gosh, this is so easy. You just do this, do that, do that, do that. And it's like, well, yeah, but do you know how much you need to know to get to the point where you just do this, do that, do that, and do that?
Yeah.
We've been doing it since 2015 for a good reason, and it's got us to where we are. And you're right. I mean, I look at it as well, and I see other videographers that are starting to offer live streaming, and I kind of chuckle to myself, because I go, I know all the mistakes that you're going to make. I know them all. I could list them for you, like this and this. And then I also know all the things you need to do to correct those mistakes. And eventually all you're doing is you're charting a course towards becoming WeStream. The only thing is you're 6 years behind.
Yeah.
So we're always going to be ahead. It's interesting. A little motto that I have for my company is, people look and say, wow, you're constantly always improving your technology, buying new equipment, stuff like that. And I say, yeah, because if we're not getting better, we're getting worse.
100%.
And that's 100% the truth. There are people that, like I said, that are just starting to live stream now. So if I don't continually get better, eventually they're going to catch us. But I'm telling you, we're always getting better. Amazon's coming to my door once a week. So we got new stuff rolling in.
I feel that. Me too.
Yeah. And sorry, you know what? I know people, there's a big buy local and stuff like that. You can't buy this equipment locally.
No, absolutely.
I'm not spurning local retailers. The stuff that we buy specific to live streaming does not exist in St. Catharines, does not exist in Niagara. And where and when we can, we bought a lot of our mic stands off local music stores. So don't even go down that road with me. Okay, you can't get this stuff.
That's awesome. Well, Kevin, do you have any final thoughts for our couples who are getting married in 2021? Any words of wisdom or inspiration for them?
Yeah, start with Krista. Okay, honestly, start with Krista, and she'll point you in the right direction. I mean, look at her. I mean, she's lovely. I love that name. It speaks volume as to the person that you are. And with any good person like Krista, she'll feel you out and she'll point you in the right direction. And really, a lot of times when you're starting out, that's what you need, right? You need somebody that's in your corner, that's not going to give you a bunch of lies, or not just going to back scratch other people. It's like, no, listen, here, you need an officiant. What are you looking for? I know tons of officiant. Do you want one that is very religious, or do you want one that is non-religious? Are you looking for a female? Do you want somebody that speaks multiple languages? If so, I'll steer you in that direction. What do you want for your venue? So start with somebody like Krista that's extremely knowledgeable and knows the marketplace in Niagara, and you'll get a lot done a lot more efficiently.
Thank you so much. That is so sweet. I really do, like, that's just part of who I am. I love connecting people with services. Like, I love problem solving. That's my problem. I absolutely love problem solving. So if someone has a need for something, I always have a connection or somebody they could talk to, or so you nailed that. Thank you.
Oh, I agree. Don't start with me. I'll tell you to go talk to Krista.
Well, Kevin, thank you so much for doing this with me. And I'm so happy to have found you and for our paths to have crossed last year, and that we get to work together every now and then. It's super awesome. So
Cool. Yeah, you know what? We're a small St. Catharines company doing world-class things. We love working in Niagara. We raise our families in St. Catharines. So don't think that just because we're a St. Catharines company that, oh, we should be looking elsewhere. I'm telling you, we are so far ahead of the field. WeStream are really world leaders in this type of technology, and we're just lucky that we're right here in Niagara. We love working in Niagara, so let's work together.
That's so cool. Again, thank you for being on my show today. I know that it will help a lot of couples out there who are planning their weddings and looking for ways to connect with family near and far. So amazing. Guys, if you're not following Kevin's socials, please make sure you do. Like I said, the Niagara Live is super cool. It's a great show. We'll make sure that we put everything in the description, all the ways to contact Kevin. Again, like if you're getting married in 2021 or 2022, even, like seriously consider giving Kevin a call and just having a conversation at least to see if they're a good fit for you.
I mean, look at this. This could be your live stream. Hey, there's our windsock.
That's perfect.
Thanks, Krista.
Thank you, guys. If you're watching this video, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed what you saw today, please, 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 please make sure that you like, comment, share, subscribe. It's so important to help get our message out there to the world. I want to help as many people as I can. We value your feedback, and I want to keep producing this helpful content for you. So please let us know what you think. If you have any ideas or any questions or certain videos you want me to cover, I'm happy to do them. Just drop them in the comments below or shoot me a DM. Thank you again for joining me. I'm Krista Lee, and I hope you all have a lovely day.